Okay, I'm gonna be doing another scary story. This is gonna be part two. I'm gonna make it a series. What's today? I ain't gonna do it every day. I'm gonna do it like today, Friday. I'm gonna do it 2 days a week. So Friday, and I'm not gonna Friday. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Fridays and Mondays or Fridays and Sundays. I'm gonna be doing it one scary thing every week. I will be posting this on TikTok. If you've seen it on YouTube first, what the fuck is this? Is that bird shit? There you go. What the fuck is that? Hell no. The fuck? How the fuck? This shit just came straight out the dryer, bruh. How the fuck that shit? Oh, hell no. Alright, I'm cool. Alright, let's get into the video. Or if it get too crazy, because I'm not finna be dealing with no goddamn ghost anymore. But if you see this on, I'm gonna be posting this one on TikTok because the last video I made, I did not like the quality. It was terrible. And who's disliking my videos? If you dislike my video, at least tell me why. Cause I don't care that you disliked it. I just want to know what I can do better. Cause I'm new. I'm just trying to, you know what I'm saying, grow. And if you help me, hey, it's only gonna make me better in the end. I don't care if you dislike it. Just tell me what I need to do to make it better. But let's watch the video.
So last Friday night, I, a 17-year-old male, was home alone with my family. Besides my sister, who's 21, was at work. They were staying in their cabin a few kilometers away. I'm used to staying home alone, and this exact scenario is very common in the summertime, especially while I'm working and can't travel from the cabin and back. I'm not usually jumpy or afraid while home alone anymore, as I'm used to the odd creaks and settling noises of our old house. I was especially comforted by the fact that my sister's dog was also in the house with me that night, and most noises could be attributed to him, and if anything were to happen, he would act as a good guard dog of sorts and alert me to anything odd. At the same time, however, he's the type of dog to bark at any noise or person walking past the door or windows, so I'm used to hearing him bark or growl at night. Even so, this past Friday, the sound of his barks at nearly 12 a.m. were disconcerting, to say the least. Despite my comfort with staying home alone, I'm still terrified of the premise of a break-in or some other uninvited human interaction at midnight. I let him bark for a few seconds, telling myself it was just someone walking past our glass door in the adjacent alleyway, and he would quiet down once they passed. Needless to say, that's not what happened. He kept barking and growling for a few moments too long, and I finally got out of bed. I sleep in the basement, and walked upstairs to check it out. As I'd suspected, he was standing alert at the glass door. I was comforted for a moment until I walked over, ready to close the curtains and go back to sleep, and saw the door open, about 2 or 3 inches. I froze. I had let Bosco, the dog, out earlier that night, but I know I closed the door. I've never left the door open. I'm a paranoid person with bad anxiety, especially concerning break-ins and the like, so I would
Nah, that's not paranoia. That's just instinct. Cause me personally,
never, home alone, forget to close the door, and I'm 100% certain. But at the time, I didn't let myself think about these facts or even acknowledge that I could not have left that door open because I knew it would send me into a spiral, possibly even an anxiety or panic attack if I didn't explain this away. I closed and locked the door, double-checking that it was certainly locked. Using the flashlight on my phone, the lights were all off, I looked around the entire second floor of my 3-floor house, including closets and other reasonable hiding spots just to put my mind at ease, and upon finding nothing, went back downstairs to my room. As I was down there, trying to push away the fear, I could hear Bosco walking around on the floor that doubles as my bedroom's roof. I thought that I was overthinking it when it started to sound like human footsteps accompanied by Bosco's footsteps. He walks
Fuck
around
no.
for about 10 minutes before I put in my earphones and talk myself down until I can fall asleep. At 2 a.m. that same night, my sister comes home from work. I woke up a few minutes before this to Bosco in the basement, which he never does. There's even a gate to stop him from getting to the basement, whining at my bedroom door. When I got up to let him out, my sister walked in, and we let him out the front door rather than the glass patio door, letting him in the same way. We talked for a while before I went back downstairs, and my sister went to the bathroom. I forgot about the door, busy with work for the next few days, and forgot to mention it to anyone until tonight. My sister and Mum were home with me for a movie night while my dad and brother stayed at the cabin. I remember the door situation when we were picking out horror movies to watch. I was sharing it as a creepy, almost sort of funny story before my sister spoke up, saying that the same night, an hour or so after they got home, the door was open again.
What the fuck?
The same door that was locked from the inside, and not opened since earlier that night. My stomach dropped, and I started shaking the second this was revealed. We first started trying to explain it away. Maybe she had let Bosco out and forgot to close it until we both recalled that we'd used the front door. Then we were trying to justify a reason someone would break in to not steal anything, and proceed to stay for 2 hours before leaving. Ultimately, I realized that I quite possibly locked someone in the house with me, then forced them to hide upstairs while I searched the second level of our house. Then this hypothetical person would be trapped up there now, knowing that this house, that appears empty with the rest of the family gone and all the lights off, was not empty, and there was a dog who would bark if they showed themselves again, alerting me to their presence. Then, when I was in the basement and my sister was in the bathroom, they ran out the glass door, which is timed perfectly when they found the door open once more, much wider than when I found it as...
Follow those steps. Because 58% is crazy. 58% new viewers and no subscribers. Let's keep going.
Though they were only in a hurry on the way out.
Hopefully we get
Perhaps
the whole
they
story.
left the door open the first time for a quick escape, or to stop the loud sound of it meeting the door frame. Either way, it ties together too perfectly for me to reasonably brush it off. I know it's unlikely, especially with nothing missing, but in this small town, there have been many reports of break-ins with nothing missing, vandalizing, or just breaking and enterings many times, so it's not as unlikely as it may be in a bigger city. I can't really make sense of this, and I'm shaken up thinking of the possibility of someone being in my house while I was asleep, alone in the basement. There's a part of me that doesn't believe it, but I can't shake that too many coincidences that all tie together to make this as concerning as it truly is. This happened over 20 years ago, but I often think back on it and how lucky I am to be here. In 1998, pagers were all the rage, and...
Okay, the first story, 1 through 10. Let's be honest, that shit was ass. We get, it was a door. I had a worse experience. Y'all want to hear my experience? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Y'all want to hear mine? I got like 6 ghost experiences that are fucking crazy. Just let me know if y'all want to hear them.
And personal phones were huge, bulky contraptions you'd have to have in your car, if you could even afford one. But they were far too cumbersome to carry with you. I had some serious health problems starting in my early teens, so I missed out on most of high school. At 18, I was eager to shake off the sickly, overprotected child role at home. I got a job and moved into my own apartment. I was eager to party with friends and make up for lost time. Spending so much of my adolescence in a hospital had consequences. I had missed out on the life experiences teens learn from. I was much more naive than my friends and generally lacked their sense of judgment and street smarts. My knowledge and experience with drugs and alcohol was even more deficient. At the time, I also had this stupid attraction to the bad boy thug types. So, attracted to thugs and naive.
What's that supposed to mean?
That has victim written all over it.
So she's
and
a
human
female.
trafficking
It's a female. It's a female.
wasn't something you heard about at the time. Probably the worst thing we thought could happen was someone putting something into our drink. And because of my illness, I had to take medication, so I usually kept drinking to a minimum and avoided drugs. However, I didn't have much experience on dealing with peer pressure. Usually if I knew my friends were going out drinking, I'd skip my meds that night. This night I had planned to stay in. Later, 2 girlfriends showed up and insisted that we go out. There was a lot of pressure to have one more beer, roll one more joint. And when we got to the...
Bro, I'm sorry, I know I'm pausing a lot, but you don't hear that bug, bro. It's like outside. I don't know what they call it, but it's irritating me.
club, I felt reasonably coherent. It was super crowded. I started dancing with a guy with a 13 on his hand, and then suddenly, I felt numb and couldn't speak. The next thing I remember, I'm standing out in the parking lot. It's cold and my best friend just slapped me.
What the fuck?
We're standing in front of a car I don't know. The guy I was dancing with is arguing with a male friend of ours, and 4 men who appear to be with the 13 guy are waiting in this running car. My BFF grabs my wrist and pulls me towards the front doors of the club, all the while yelling at me. "What were you thinking? Are you stupid? Do you want to die?"
What?
So it turns out, my friend had lost sight of me after I was dancing with this guy. Then, my BFF caught a glimpse of him holding my hand walking me out the door. She grabbed 3 guys who knew us and ran out to the parking lot after me. The car with the men had pulled around and they were trying to put me in the trunk.
Oh, hell no. See, now that's crazy. That's why I say you always gotta have, as a female, you gotta have a mace, taser, or a firearm. You gotta have something. But how did he did something? How did she not see herself walking out? She must have been, I don't know, drunk.
After that, my wild child days were over. I focused on studying, got my degree, and made smarter decisions. I'm so grateful to my observant friend's quick action and for the 3 guys who ran out to help.
W friend.
We lost touch over the years, but I have no doubt that those 4 saved my life.
W friends. Alright, this story 3. We did
Around
2.
3 to 4 years ago when I was 12, I was at my aunt's house visiting for camp. I was upstairs and saw the camera go off saying someone
Let's do this story. We're gonna skip those 2.
When I turned 18, me
This game, you're not.
and 2 of my friends decided to take a trip to our local casino. We mostly just played simple games like slots and video roulette since it was our first time going to an actual casino. After losing some money, we decided to search for something to eat. Pretty much everything was way too overpriced, so we wandered around for quite a bit. Eventually, we reached a hallway along the border of the main floor. We made our way down the hall looking for food, but everything was closed. We started to notice that the hall was completely vacant of people. As we wandered further down the hall, we reached an oddly intriguing small room through a double doorway. This was the only entrance into the room.
Being
It
curious,
was completely empty except for us 3 and about 10 to 20 slot machines. We were bored, so I decided to throw $5 into the slot machine and spin a few times. After my second or third spin, an odd-looking man, early to mid-30s, appeared from behind the slot machine, seemingly out of thin air.
The fuck?
He began watching me play and started getting uncomfortably close to us. We weren't very worried since we outnumbered him 3 dudes to 1. However, we weren't very confused. We grew more and more uneasy the longer he stood there, not saying a word. Eventually, my friend decided to ask him what was up. The man looked at us for a second before asking if we were all brothers. None of us look even remotely similar, so we told him we were all just friends. He said, "Oh, that's great," and proceeded to ask if he could join our group. We told him that we all came together and lied in saying that we were actually planning on leaving soon. He told us that we should stay and play with him and says, "My good friend Rachel over there knows all the good machines," and points towards the other side of the room. We slowly peered around the machine and all immediately became horrified. Nothing else was in the room with us. He pointed into an empty corner. We all stand up from our seats and slowly back out of the room, not letting our eyes leave the man. Once he was out of sight, we turned around and sprinted down the hallway back to the main game room. We all vowed to never go back down that hallway ever again, and I never did. But curiosity eventually got the better of us.
Why are you so curious? Nigga said we never go down the hallway. Fuck the hallway. I'm never going to that damn casino again.
About a year and too many casino trips later, we're playing blackjack back at the same casino with a fourth friend. He gets bored and hungry and says that we should go look for food. After walking around looking for food, we made it back to the entrance of that very hallway that we vowed never to return to. The fourth friend said that we should go search there for food. The rest of us tell him no and explain to him that we can't go back down there. He asks why, so we tell him about our experience down that hallway about a year prior.
Watch, he gonna call him scary.
He said that we're just BSing him and that there's no room of slot machines in the location we described. He explains that his mom was a worker at the casino and he would know if there was a rogue room of slots in the middle of nowhere. So we did the one thing we could do to convince him of our experience. We decided to lead him to the room. We made our way down the hallway and searched for the room, but after walking for a few minutes, we reached the end of the hall. Confused, we turned around and searched again, thinking that we had somehow missed it. No room. We came to the conclusion that they must have moved the machines out of the room since the casino changes things around quite frequently, so people don't gain a sense of direction on the game floor.
Nah, see, y'all head, no. How the fuck you moved it? If you don't, they didn't see the room. Fuck the slots. You didn't see the room. Where the fuck you can't just move a room. I'm getting the fuck out of there.
So we once again walked down the hallway in search of an empty room, or at least a set of closed doors that would enter the room. Nothing. No doors even remotely close to where we remembered the room. We were completely dumbfounded and started to question our sanity. All three of us remembered the room in the same location, yet there was nothing. There was no room with slot machines, and there was no room at all. To this day, neither me nor my friends understand or can explain how this happened.
Fuck that casino. Alright. That is a long time. We got we got a couple more stories left. These are stories I want to get to. So if I do a part 3, I gotta remember this video and I'm gonna do these. But they really wasn't that scary. So I'm probably gonna find something else. I need some crazy stuff. If y'all know some crazy stuff, put it in the comments. I don't care if it's old, I'll still watch it. If it's 5-6 years old, I'll still watch it. But like the video, subscribe, dislike, do what you need to do. But if you dislike, just tell me what I need to get better at, cause don't just dislike and leave me hanging. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck? And I'll catch y'all in the next one. I'm out. Make my thumbnail real quick. Nah, that ain't a good one. Let me see. Name my new stick trees, yeah. Pointing at niggas, she gon' eat 'em. We on that wherever we see 'em. Tell your bitch to stay on my DM. You lame, I don't wanna be 'em.